So, next we're going to talk about downed animals and free range farms. Downed animals are animals that are so sick and exhausted they can't walk. They collapse on the ground, multiple animals on top of one another, and are allowed to sit there for days before being dragged away by chains, winches, forklifts, or tractors. These are either poured onto enormous dead piles or sent to the slaughterhouse. A word on free range farms. The Department of Agriculture helps regulate labels for free range farms, but they rely on the honor system. The farms in question self report, so a product could be labeled as free range when it actually isn't. It's very well known that we have animal welfare laws that often go ignored or go unenforced. The criteria for what qualifies as a free range farm is very bad as well. If an animal is allowed to go outside even once in its life, it qualifies as free range no matter how small and cramped the space it lives in is. Remember that some animals, like veal calves, never even get to touch grass or look at the sun. On these so called free range farms, a chicken that is laying eggs is no longer considered profitable after 2 years and is killed. Factory farms treat animals the way they do because it makes more money. Male chickens are still considered useless on a free range farm and are still killed as soon as they're born by being gassed, crushed, or suffocated. Otherwise, they're sold for animal experimentation or put on the open market to be used in religious rituals. On a free range farm, as with a factory farm, the mentality is still the same. If an animal no longer makes money, it's killed. Both forms of farming still drastically reduce an animal's lifespan. And when it comes to actually reducing the animal's lifespan, free range farms are even worse. Perhaps, however, considering how a farm animal's existence is completely devoid of any joy and full of suffering, this could be seen as a mercy. We still need basic emergency measures for animals, but people who talk about free range farming are usually missing the whole point. Most people and the law only see animals as property. As long as we see them as such, we will always cut corners to be more efficient and save money. When an animal is held captive and part of its body is made into an industry which has to keep up with consumer demand, this inherently leads to exploitation. People always come up with the perfect scenarios, but this is completely removed from how our world works. We have a growing population of 8 billion people, and in addition, creating meat is wasteful and inefficient. We overbreed animals to keep up with demand, then use up food, water, and land which could have been used for humans. We actually would have more food if we didn't raise animals to be killed for meat. A truly humane farm wouldn't be profitable, and a hypothetical perfect scenario would cause meat to be an exclusive item only available to the super rich. But emergency measures are desperately needed. We need sweeping reforms which will bring more attention to the issue because the government doesn't act like something is an emergency until we do. The animal agriculture industry makes a lot of money and lobbies heavily. They are huge and have a lot of power, so people who want to fight them are up against a giant. Even if 100% of all people hated this industry's guts and didn't like what they do, it wouldn't matter because they don't need people's love. They need their money. As long as people keep paying them, they will act with impunity.